And it's time. Here we go. Hey, I'm Jay Skinner, and this is the Buyers and Sellers Show, pre-show. We just enjoy and get started about 10:35 a.m. every Friday morning, Eastern Standard Time. Oh, yeah! And we're live. Hey, I'm Jay Skinner, and you're on the Buyers and Sellers Show. We're live here every Friday morning at 10:35. That would be 10:35 a.m. on Fridays. And interestingly enough, I'm on Facebook, but one of my Facebook channels just plain didn't connect. So that's all right. We're still out there on a couple of Facebooks anyway. Anyway, I want to ring the bell because I heard somebody coming in the back door. Holy cow. There's Jeffrey Gittimer. Hey, we're ringing the bell. Jeffrey, how you doing?
It's the Liberty Bell or just like a regular bell?
Well, I tell you what, it could be all of the above.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have a bell to ring. Everybody's
Exactly.
got to have a bell.
But we have one.
Oh, man, I love ringing the bell.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
So, Jeffrey, what a surprise. I'm so glad you're here. Talk to me. What is on your mind today, Jeffrey Gittimer, King of Sales? What do you have to share with us?
I actually am going to go live after I'm done with this broadcast and talk to people about how to get ready to go on a podcast.
Nice.
Because most people aren't ready. Like, I'm ready. Am I wearing a suit? No. Am I wearing fancy clothes? No. But intellectually, I'm ready. I have a little bit of coffee, no big deal, but my coffee is always representative of my thoughts. So this is Peabody and Sherman. And I tell people to go back in time to get your stories. So if you picture yourself in the bedroom that you grew up in, or you picture yourself in a university classroom or a college classroom, you will always come up with a story.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And maybe that story is not germane, so you got to pass on and move to the next story. But I promise you, if you go back in time 10 times, you'll have 5 stories that you can use in your speeches forever.
No
It's pretty,
question.
yeah. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about getting ready for a podcast to put yourself in the right frame of mind, to give yourself the audience understanding. Maybe make a couple of notes for yourself and just kind of get ready. I'm getting ready right now. I'm doing my slides for my talk and the workbook for my 3-day event. Me and Jen are doing a 3-day certification event at the beach, and then again in January here in Charlotte. It's going to be amazing. It is literally, I'm defining how I have sold for the past 40 years, and the consistency of it is literally scary. It's not like anybody. Oh wow, thanks. It's not like anything else you've ever seen. It is the antithesis of how sales are being taught right now, where you have slides from your marketing department that are pretty boring, and you have a presentation that pretty much revolves around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just talk about how I made multi-million-dollar sales in New York City regularly, not cold calling, but target calling.
Target
calling. I never knocked on somebody's door with no reason to talk to them. Can I have 5 minutes? Because I got no. I had a reason and an idea before I ever made a call to anybody, and the results are remarkable.
Well, now for people to participate in that, first of all, full disclosure, I'm going to be there, and I'm also bringing 3 friends that I recruited that are also going to go, all relatively new to sales and selling, 3 young men that are going to be there and learn how to do it. I will tell people that as I was explaining to one of my clients why he needs to send this new sales guy to your event, he was talking to me about years ago, back in, I think it was the 60s, perhaps, when Zig Ziglar was teaching classes in Texas. Does that make sense?
Yep, total.
And he showed up he was in his 20s, and he didn't even know who he was sitting with.
I am on with the great Jay Skinner.
Hi, Jen.
Isn't that class? Okay, I'll call you later. I love you.
Love you.
So anyway, this boss sat at the feet of Zig Ziglar back in the 60s and had no idea really who he was sitting with until about the second day, didn't really understand the magnitude of the teaching and the event. And when I said to him, I said, this is tantamount to what you experienced sitting at the feet of Ziglar. This young man is sitting at the feet of Jeffrey Gitomer, the king of sales, his wife, Jennifer. Cool. And I said, that's the equivalent to this opportunity to come to this event that they're putting on at their resort in Wild Dunes. And he said, that's all I needed to hear. And that's the truth. And for anybody that's listening that might be on the fence or thinking about the idea of coming to this event, this is one of those life-changing events that you will talk about for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. That's true, but you don't know it until you experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I spent 6 weekends in the front row, a couple months apart for each one, listening to Jim Rohn present. It was life-changing. I still have all the notes. I wrote 2 articles about it that appeared in business journals all over the country because I was so taken by his simple philosophies and strategies that are timeless. And I'll be passing some of those on. because you can't help but pass along your own philosophies of how you live and how you decide to move forward, and with what ethics and with what morality you do it. And people go, "You're from New York, you don't have any morals." I do have morals. I had enough morals to move away. But I think the whole challenge of this process is, what are you doing right now that's building the foundation for you to move forward? And the answer might be not enough. And that's, people have to at some point sit down and decide if they're going to invest in themselves in order to move forward.
Yes.
You can't stay where you are. You have to take that risk. You have to set your own standard for self-education. And in fact, Rohn says formal education will earn you a living, self-education will earn you a fortune. And you decide how much of a fortune you want to earn by how much you decide you want to self-educate.
Yes.
I am writing the draft of a book called I Didn't Become a Student Until I Dropped Out of College.
Yes. And that goes back to when you dropped out of college. As I recall, you ended up in Europe, and that's where you really began to get an education.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome.
I dropped out and traveled in Europe for a year. Lived in Berlin, got hit by a car, took a train to behind the Iron Curtain, skied in Switzerland. I mean, I did everything you're supposed to do in life by myself. No camera, no phone in the 60s. I didn't call any, if you had to call somebody, literally a long distance call, you had to go to the post office to make a phone call. I mean, it was a little nuts, but somehow you survive. And every day I wake up and I'm on my own. Every day.
Jeffrey, the topic for today's show was, by the way, let's see, I've got some people here. Oh, there we go. Gregory Sneed says, there you are. Didn't see me on Facebook. Yep. Hi, Gregory. Glad you're here. Yeah. Somehow StreamYard didn't connect on Facebook, so I'll run it back up on the Facebook channel after we get done. I can rebroadcast it. But Jeffrey, the topic today that I had, and I'm glad you surprised me because I'm interested in your thoughts, and it has to do with people that are getting started over, rebuilding, and then here is the question. Do you ever wake up and realize you're not really ready to do anything? Is that okay? Does it ever happen to you? And then what do you do to get things started? What are your thoughts about that?
People get frustrated because they're not doing what they love, or they may not be with someone that they love, or they may be in a circumstance where they're not certain of where they want to go or what they want to do. It's not really ready to do anything. It's wanting to do anything. So think about that as a subtle difference. So the challenge is, make a list of 10 things you would do and go to work every day for free. In there is a list of something you need to pursue, because there's no sense spending 8 hours a day doing something you don't love. Makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put yourself in a winning position by finding something that you love, then it's more likely you will succeed. If you don't love it, you'll rise to some level of mediocrity and come home and kick your dog, or drink beer and watch TV because you're miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason for that. The opportunities here abound. You're not stuck. You're just not looking around. You're just not doing something to better yourself, and you're not doing something to find the place that you really feel like you fit in because it's what you want to do. You desire to do it.
I have said this.
Yeah, exactly. You have to decide, in chapter 1, kick your own ass, because nobody is going to, cool. No one's going to kick your ass for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't come over to your house and go, come on, bud, you can get out of bed. Come on. No, you're responsible for you. No one's going to really care whether you live or die because they're too busy caring about whether they live or die. And I think that you put yourself in a winning position by taking responsibility for yourself, not accountability, responsibility. Big difference. Big difference.
Big difference. So for some of the people that are listening that actually saw um, the promos that went along with this,
Yeah.
they some of them were thinking, okay, I'm like that. I'm getting up. I don't really feel like it. I have these difficulties. What we're talking about here for this coming October 1, 2, and 3 really amounts to an opportunity for someone to kick their butt and get going. And it's a reinvent, renew, restart opportunity that if an immersive experience at a beautiful resort in Wild Dunes, South Carolina, where if they go there, they spend the time with you and Jen and the rest
Yeah,
of us.
you're on the beach. You're on
Awesome.
the beach. Okay, but let me throw this at
Yeah.
you. Let me throw this at you, Jay. Here's
Yes.
a comment by Gregory Sneed, smart guy. You were a student while you were in school. Actually, I was not a student in school. I did everything I could not to be a student in school. And I became one after I left school, and I became a scholar after I published my first book. Which I will tell you, I had the course that I got an A in at Temple University was English composition.
Huh.
It's the only A. I think I might have got an A in archery or something like that, but that's the only A I got in school. All the rest were near misses. Let's put it that way. I just never considered myself a student, and I, I sold football pools for my bookie. I sold homework. I went to the racetrack every night. I did everything I could not to be a student. Went to cut classes to go to get basketball tickets. Anything I could do not to be in class, I did.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize that that was my one time to really absorb stuff, but I also didn't like the way they taught things. So it had nothing to do. I was working with my dad after school every day. And I said, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to be in business.
Yeah.
And the teachers had no idea what business was, even though I was in business school. It was just a series of near misses, to quote Woody Allen. And I think that there's a challenge that everybody faces. Are you doing what you love? And if you're not doing what you love, figure out a way to do that. Don't just quit and put yourself in financial jeopardy, but figure out a way to transition to it. It's not a side hustle. It's a desire to get where you want to be. There's
Mhm.
nothing to do with side hustles. Side hustles are a bad diversion.
I understand. And one of the things that I noticed, and I should have kept it, I didn't, but one of the things that I did a number of years ago, probably 3 years ago, when I was doing some of my own reinventing to get to here, I did a mind map and I wrote out some of the
Yep.
things that were important to me, and I let my mind flow in different colors on a big poster board, and they call it mind mapping. If you people want to look it up, you can look it up and get the idea before you know it. But you free flow out onto a piece of paper. And what's amazing to me is that mind map was on the wall for the last 2.5 years,
Oh, sure.
and I start looking at it and realizing, holy cow, my subconscious and my activities have driven me towards those things that I envisioned could be part of what I knew and loved and wanted to have happen that were non-existent at the time that I drew it. And it was beautiful.
If you Google mind map, and there's free templates that you can use that will teach you how to do it. I think Tony Buzan is the guy that wrote the book. Mind map book. Take a look real quick. Mind mapping. And I'm not 100% positive, but radiant thinking. I don't know.
Mind
It's
mapping's got to be the word, I'd think.
let's go Tony. See what
The
happens
value
there.
of mind mapping is that it finds things that you wouldn't normally find, and it
Exactly.
allows you to
It's
dream.
Tony
And you get free
Buzan.
thinking.
It's
Okay,
Tony Buzan, Buzan. And that's the definitive book on mind mapping. He even has one for kids. It's actually pretty cool.
Tony Bazan.
Hmm.
Everyone, look that up and look up mind mapping along with it, and you'll get it. I can testify as well that one of the things, and when people talk about goal setting and that sort of thing, and what your mind can conceive and your heart can believe, you can achieve. It all goes to one thing. And for those of you that are scientific and technical, just imagine that when you're sleeping, if you've put this stuff in front of yourself, if you've talked about it, if you've put it on paper, you've put it on the wall in terms of pictures, when you're sleeping and when you're doing other things, your subconscious will be moving you in the direction that you want to go. Like Earl Nightingale says, what you think about, that's what you become. What's that exact quote? You become what you think about.
Yes.
It
The
brings
exact
us.
quote actually is, we become what we think about. But I never use first person plural. So I've edited it to say, you become what you think about. Because I know
There.
I become what I think about.
Yes, me too. Me too.
And I
Well,
think that's the challenge. You put yourself in uh, a position where you're able to achieve based on what you think about. Um, Easy.
see, Randall's on. He says, morning, good morning, sirs. It seems most people feel learning stops once you leave school. That's not the truth. We know that.
Yep.
Randall, good point. So I want to come back to this. I'm somewhat persistent for people that are out there that might be listening to this that are in sales and are bumping along. If
Hmm.
you want the opportunity to get out of that I'm bumping along sales guy, the last time you saw or did anything to help get smart was, in 1972 when you went to a seminar and you're still just using that stuff.
Exactly.
Get up to date. Come be with us with the king of sales, his wife Jennifer,
Yeah, and just
and
have a good time.
all of
It
us
it
have a
is a
good time.
total good time. Just plain and simple. It's a total good time. And I think if you decide to do that and put yourself in a winning position, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to
Yes.
win for yourself. That's the whole key. You're going to win for yourself. And I want you to think of it literally in terms of that. That's the way you win. That's the way you succeed.
Yes. It's going to be a small group. It's not like you're going to walk into
No,
150
there'll be
people.
20 people there.
Yeah, you're going to meet, we're going to make some friends. It's going to be great. I plan on making it an immersive experience for myself, the guys that are going
Good.
along with me. The same thing. We're just going to eat, sleep, and breathe it for 3 days,
Yep.
and it'll be awesome. Let's see
So,
if I more comments. There we go. What's this say? There you go.
AD,
Randall's
I
going
will
to be
be
at
there
the
for the
next
next
one.
event. Really unable to come to this one. Come to the one in Charlotte on June 2020. No, January 2021, 22. We'll announce it probably in another week or so, but we've already picked out the dates and picked out the location.
Great.
But this certification thing is going to be a major thrust in what I do because I've already proven that I can give speeches. I'd rather help people go to their $1 million career goal.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, thanks for coming. Is there anything else you want to tell the crowd before
Yeah. Stay
before we
away from
wrap it
idiots.
up?
Stay away
What?
from idiots.
Stay away from idiots.
Um,
Did you say stay away from idiots?
Yeah.
That's pretty good advice.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay, for having me. I'll talk to you after a little while. You take care of yourself.
Okay, thank you. Talk to you later. Thanks for
Cheers.
coming.
Cheers.
Cheers. And everyone, we just had something awesome here. so happy that Jeffrey just dropped in. I was hoping that maybe it might happen, but oh my gosh, he did. I'll play us out. Watch this again. And for those of you that missed it on the Facebook, I want to run this up a replay on Facebook in about a half an hour so that people can see it that would normally go on to that particular channel. But in the meantime, thank you, Jeffrey. I hope you got some motivation and some encouragement about that whole ever wake up and realize you're not really ready to do anything. Well, now you've got something to do. You have some thoughts about doing it. You remember that you become what you think about. And I want you to think about great things and be part of the event October 1, 2, and 3. If you can, feel free to contact me. You have the Gittimer training /certify right there on the screen. Do it. Do it. You'll be glad you did. Let's see if I have any additional comments. There we go. Randall says, great show, Jay. Super. Fantastic. Greg, thanks for coming. Thanks for participating. Really appreciate your participation. And I'll just play us out, and it'll be another wrap to another wonderful Buyers and Sellers show. Thank you all for coming again. This was, I can't say how happy and proud I am to have you all there. Away we go. Let's see how it goes this time. Yeah! Wow! See you next week, Friday, 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Buyers and Sellers Show. Always here for you. So glad you came. Bye now.